You don't have the charisma. Bastian's laugh echoes through the conference room like broken glass scraping against concrete. My PowerPoint deck, 3 months of meticulous work, 247 slides of revolutionary technology, sits frozen on the screen behind him. The keynote team stares at their laptops, avoiding eye contact like guilty children caught stealing cookies. I'm sorry, what? My voice cracks like a teenager asking someone to prom. The board wants someone more engaging. Lysander will take over. Bastian's manicured fingers drum against the mahogany table. This is business, Nancy. Nothing personal. Lysander. The golden boy who joined 6 months ago with his Harvard MBA and somehow wormed his way into every high-visibility project at CliffsOns. He gives me a sympathetic smile that makes my skin crawl, the kind of practiced expression they probably teach in leadership seminars. Nancy, you understand, right? Bastian continues, adjusting his Italian silk tie. This is about what's best for CliffsOns. The shareholders expect a certain level of presentation quality. My hands shake uncontrollably. 3 years building this presentation. 3 years of 18-hour days, missed dinners with my daughter Amelie, explaining to her babysitter why mommy couldn't make the school play. Again. The parent-teacher conferences I attended via conference call from airport terminals. The presentation is mine. My voice sounds foreign, distant. Was yours? He's already packing his leather briefcase, the one that costs more than my monthly mortgage payment. Lysander will polish it up. Add some pizzazz. Maybe incorporate some storytelling elements. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead like angry wasps. Everyone's talking over me, around me, through me. Voices blur together into corporate white noise. Budget adjustments. Timeline modifications. Marketing synergy bullshit. Cross-platform integration opportunities. I taste copper pennies. My teeth have cut my tongue without me realizing. Nancy? Octavia from legal touches my shoulder with genuine concern. She's one of the few people here who remembers what integrity looks like. You okay? You look pale. I stand abruptly. Chair wheels screech against polished tile like nails on a chalkboard. Everyone stops talking, 20 pairs of eyes suddenly focused on me. I need some air. The conference room door closes behind me with a soft click that sounds like a coffin lid. I sit in my Honda Civic, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turn bone white. The parking garage echoes with my ragged breathing, each exhale fogging the windshield. Somewhere above me, fluorescent lights flicker and hum their mechanical lullaby. 3 years ago, I transferred to Bastian's division from the development team. Big opportunity, they said. Growth potential. Leadership track. Fast track to senior management. I believed every corporate buzzword they fed me, swallowed their promises like communion wine. The first year was brutal beyond anything I'd experienced. 60-hour weeks became 70, then 80 during crunch periods. I'd stumble home at midnight to find Amelie already asleep, her mathematics homework spread across our kitchen table with post-it notes from Mrs. Kowalski, our babysitter. Mommy, I solved the hard problems by myself, she'd tell me the next morning over Lucky Charms, beaming with pride that should have been shared. I told myself the sacrifice was temporary. Build credibility. Establish expertise. Show them Nancy Walters belonged in the C-suite with the big boys. Prove that a single mother from Wisconsin could compete with Ivy League graduates and trust fund babies. The keynote presentation became my white whale, my obsession. Not just slides, a complete ecosystem of interconnected demonstrations. Interactive demos that responded to voice commands. Real-time analytics processing terabytes of customer data. Video testimonials I personally secured by flying to Denver, Atlanta, Phoenix on red-eye flights, sleeping in airport chairs to save on hotel costs. I spent my own money I should have been saving for Amelie's college fund, on prototype hardware when CliffsOns' procurement department dragged their bureaucratic feet for 3 months. Maxed out 2 credit cards buying specialized sensors and processing units. Bastian loved it initially. Revolutionary thinking, Nancy. This could transform our entire go-to-market strategy. He paraded me around investor meetings like a prize poodle, introduced me as his secret weapon to venture capitalists in expensive suits who nodded appreciatively while checking their Rolexes. But something shifted after the board retreat in March. Whispered conversations died when I entered rooms. Bastian started CCNG Lysander on my emails, then gradually removing me from distribution lists altogether. Small exclusions became bigger ones. Meeting invitations mysteriously disappeared from my calendar. Still, I pushed forward like a woman possessed. The presentation had to be perfect. Had to prove I belonged in their rarefied air. Had to justify every missed bedtime story, every school event I attended via smartphone video call. Last week, I stayed until 3 a.m. fine-tuning the demo sequence, surviving on vending machine coffee and determination. The security guard, Georgia, found me asleep at my desk, cheek pressed against my laptop keyboard. QWERTY marks tattooed across my face like some kind of corporate scarlet letter. "Long night, Ms. Walters," he asked in his thick Romanian accent, genuine concern creasing his weathered features. "Long 3 years, Georgia." Now Bastian's words replay in my mind like a broken record. "You don't have the charisma." As if charisma mattered more than the hundreds of sleepless hours I poured into making CliffsSons look brilliant to their investors. My phone buzzes insistently. 17 missed calls from Amelie's school. Shit. Mother of the Year strikes again. "Ms. Walters? This is Principal Martinez. Amelie's been waiting in the office for an hour. You were supposed to pick her up at 3:15. The clock on my dashboard reads 4:23 p.m. I pick up Amelie and take her to Scoops and Dreams, our favorite ice cream parlor on Maple Street. She chatters excitedly about her science project on renewable energy while I nod and smile, making appropriate mother sounds while my mind races elsewhere. "Mom, are you listening?" Her voice cuts through my mental fog. "Of course, sweetheart. Solar panels and wind turbines. I was talking about my friend Zoe's hamster having babies." "Caught. Sorry, honey. Work stuff." "Is work stuff why you look sad?" "Kids see everything. Just some changes happening. Nothing for you to worry about." That night, after she's asleep clutching her stuffed elephant, I sit in my cramped home office staring at my personal laptop. Not the corporate machine they'll probably confiscate within the week, but my own faithful ThinkPad that's witnessed every breakthrough, every late-night coding session. I have copies of everything. Call it paranoia or preparation, either way, 3 years of intellectual property lives on encrypted drives hidden in my bedroom closet. Every customer interview transcript. Every prototype iteration. Every late-night breakthrough that made the keynote presentation revolutionary instead of merely competent. But there's something else. Something Bastian doesn't know I have, something that could change the entire game. 6 months ago, while working on competitive analysis, I discovered irregularities in our client retention metrics. Numbers that didn't match between departments, discrepancies that made my mathematician's brain itch. When I mentioned it to Bastian during our weekly one-on-one, he brushed me off like lint on his shoulder. "Internal accounting stuff, Nancy. Not your lane. Stay focused on the technical deliverables." But I couldn't let it go. Partly curiosity, partly the perfectionist streak that made me triple-check every formula, every data point. The irregularities weren't accounting errors, they were deliberate manipulations. Inflated performance numbers designed to inflate stock prices before the upcoming IPO. I documented everything in a private folder marked Insurance. Screenshots, email chains, financial spreadsheets with formulas that didn't add up. You never know when truth becomes valuable currency. The next morning, I arrive at CliffsSons 45 minutes early. The office is empty except for the cleaning crew and Konstantina, who's been mopping these floors since before I was born. Her arthritic hands move the mop in practiced circles. "Early bird today, Nancy?" "Catching worms, Konstantina." She chuckles, gold tooth glinting. "In my country, we say the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese." Wisdom disguised as custodial small talk. I settle at my desk and open my laptop. Not to sulk or clean out my files like a dismissed employee, but to build something entirely new. Something that will make Bastian's betrayal look like amateur hour. The keynote presentation was just the beginning. I have customer contacts, industry relationships, technical expertise they can't replicate or replace. What I don't have is a stage. Yet. I start with LinkedIn, crafting a professional update that sounds casual but calculated. Excited to announce I'm exploring new opportunities in emerging technology. Always interested in innovative projects that push boundaries. Within an hour, my inbox floods with messages. Former colleagues, industry contacts, even competitors expressing interest. The professional network I'd been building for 15 years activates like a dormant computer virus. Benedict from TechCrunch wants to grab coffee. Very interesting. Oksana from Meridian Systems, CliffSun's biggest competitor, sends a direct message, Nancy. Finally ready to talk. I have budgets and equity packages. I respond to everyone professionally, setting up coffee meetings and phone calls throughout the week. Planting seeds that will grow into something beautiful and terrible. 3 days pass with deceptive quiet. I attend meaningless meetings, respond to emails, act professionally devastated about losing the keynote opportunity. Oscar-worthy performance of a woman learning to accept corporate disappointment gracefully. Lysander occasionally stops by my desk asking for context on technical specifications, fishing for insights I don't share. His questions reveal how little he understands about the underlying technology. The customer testimonials section seems thin, he mentions during our awkward handoff meeting, scrolling through my slides with the concentration of someone reading hieroglyphics. Really? I thought 12 Fortune 500 endorsements were sufficient. Well, yes, but the emotional resonance could be stronger. The storytelling arc needs work. You'll figure it out, Lysander. You're the one with charisma. He misses the sarcasm entirely. Behind the scenes, I'm moving chess pieces across an invisible board. The coffee meeting with Benedict goes better than expected. We meet at Café Lumière, a trendy spot where tech journalists and startup founders network over overpriced lattes. Nancy Walters, he says, standing to shake my hand. I've been following your work at CliffSun's. Impressive stuff. Thank you. Though apparently not impressive enough for their upcoming keynote. His eyebrows rise. Journalists smell blood in the water like sharks. Really? That's interesting. Mind elaborating? Hypothetically, I tell him, stirring foam art into abstract patterns. What if someone developed game-changing technology, invested years of their life perfecting it, only to watch their company give credit to someone else? Someone with better presentation skills? Hypothetically, that's front-page material. Especially in today's climate around intellectual property and corporate ethics. He leans forward. Especially if said someone had documentation proving their claims. I smile mysteriously. Hypothetically, of course. I also reach out to Oksana at Meridian Systems. She's been trying to poach me for 18 months, sending LinkedIn messages and making introductions at industry conferences. Nancy. Finally ready to join the winning team? Maybe. But I'd want to bring something valuable to the table. Something that could give Meridian a significant competitive advantage. Such as? What if I told you CliffSun's entire upcoming strategy hinges on technology that's not actually theirs? Technology they stole from the person who created it? Silence on the other end. Then, I'm listening very carefully. And what if that same person had improved the technology significantly, making it faster and more efficient than anything CliffSun's possesses? Nancy, are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying hypothetically, someone might be interested in offering the real innovator a better opportunity. Meanwhile, I'm rebuilding my keynote demo from scratch. Not stealing, improving dramatically. The core innovation was always mine, but months of additional research have revealed optimization opportunities Lysander couldn't imagine. Working from home after Amelie goes to bed, I code with the intensity of someone possessed. Mozart plays through my headphones while lines of code flow like poetry. The improvement is subtle but revolutionary. Instead of processing customer data in batches every hour, my new version handles real-time streams continuously. The performance difference is staggering. Where CliffSun's version processes 10,000 transactions per minute, mine handles 50,000. Where theirs requires expensive server farms, mine runs efficiently on standard cloud infrastructure. By Friday evening, my enhanced demo is complete. I upload it to a private server hosted in Switzerland, then create a minimalist landing page. Clean design. Elegant typography. Just the demo, a brief technical description, and a contact form. I don't promote it anywhere. Don't share links on social media. Don't send announcements to mailing lists. I just seed it strategically. Send the link to 3 carefully chosen industry contacts, a venture capitalist who invests in enterprise software, a technology journalist who covers breakthrough innovations, and a senior engineer at Google who's been following my research. Then I wait like a spider in her web. Saturday morning, my phone rings at 7:23 a.m. Unknown number with a San Francisco area code. Is this Nancy Walters? I saw your demo. This is absolutely incredible. How have I never heard of this technology before? I'm sorry, who is this? Casimir Novak. I run emerging technology coverage for Tech Review magazine. Someone forwarded me your link, and I've been staring at this demo for 2 hours. This data processing approach, it's genuinely revolutionary. Are you looking for funding? Media coverage? I have investors who would mortgage their houses for early access to something like this. I smile, watching Amelie practice cartwheels in our small backyard, her laughter carrying through the screen door. Actually, Casimir, I am looking for coverage. But there's a story behind the technology. A story about innovation, corporate theft, and what happens when companies don't recognize talent. I'm all ears. The conversation lasts 90 minutes. By the end, Casimir has enough material for a feature article that will run in next week's issue. He also promises to share the demo with his network of technology leaders and venture capitalists. Nancy, this is going to create waves. Are you prepared for that? I've been preparing for 3 years. Monday morning arrives like a Category 5 hurricane making landfall. I'm sitting at my desk reviewing quarterly performance reports, sipping lukewarm coffee from my favorite mug, the one Amelie made in pottery class with "World's Best Mom" painted in uneven purple letters, when Bastien explodes into the office area like a human tornado. His face is crimson, tie askew, usually perfect hair disheveled as if he's been running his hands through it repeatedly. His Italian leather shoes click against the tile floor with staccato urgency. Why is your demo going viral? The entire floor stops working. Conversations halt mid-sentence. Keyboards fall silent. Coffee cups freeze halfway to lips. Even the perpetually humming printer seems to hold its breath. I'm sorry. I look up from my reports with practiced innocence. Don't play dumb, Nancy. Tech Review. TechCrunch. LinkedIn. Half the fucking industry is talking about some revolutionary demo with your name on it. What the hell did you do? Profanity from Bastien. This is serious. He never swears in front of employees, too worried about HR complaints and his pristine corporate image. I have no idea what you're talking about. I click through browser tabs casually, feigning confusion. The demo. The one that's supposedly better than our keynote presentation. The one that's making us look like amateurs. Lysander appears behind Bastien like a nervous shadow, his face pale and drawn. Dark circles under his eyes suggest he spent the weekend frantically trying to understand technology that's beyond his comprehension. Nancy, people are saying you leaked proprietary CliffsOns technology. That's corporate espionage. That's a federal crime. His voice cracks on the last word. What demo? I open my laptop slowly, typing with deliberate calm. Oh, this? This is just a personal project I've been working on during evenings and weekends. Nothing to do with CliffsOns. Personal project? Bastien's voice rises to near falsetto. That's our technology. Our intellectual property. Actually, I pull up my meticulously organized documentation. This is based on research I conducted before joining your team. Check the timestamps on these files. My initial prototypes predate any CliffsOns work by 6 months. The file creation dates tell an indisputable story. Every document, every line of code, every breakthrough moment preserved with digital fingerprints that no corporate lawyer can dispute. Lysander lunges for my laptop. This can't be right. The core algorithms are mine. My personal code, running on my personal servers, developed during my personal time using my personal resources. I turn the screen toward them. Would you like me to walk through the technical differences? Because they're substantial. The color drains from Bastien's face like water from a broken dam. He pulls out his iPhone, frantically scrolling through what must be a tsunami of notifications. Missed calls from board members. Emergency emails from the communications team. Crisis management requests from legal. Sir. Theodora from legal approaches hesitantly, clutching a stack of papers that's growing thicker by the minute. I'm getting calls from reporters, investors, even some of our biggest clients. They want to know why CliffsOns is claiming credit for technology that appears to belong to Nancy Walters. Because it doesn't belong to her. She developed it here, for us, on company time. I stand calmly, straightening my pencil skirt with deliberate composure. Actually, I developed something similar here as part of my assigned duties. But that version was collaborative work product, incorporating input from multiple team members and using company resources. I gesture to my laptop screen. This version, the one generating media attention, is entirely my own creation. Based on my original research, enhanced with 6 months of additional development, and optimized using techniques I developed independently. You can't prove that. I can, actually. I turn my laptop toward the growing crowd of colleagues who've abandoned their desks to witness the spectacle. Complete development history. Git commits with timestamps. File creation dates. Email correspondence with my patent attorney. Would you like me to walk through the technical documentation? The silence is deafening. Somewhere in the distance, phones continue ringing with increasing urgency. Bastian's phone buzzes against his palm. He answers, walking toward the conference room while hissing into the receiver. Through the glass walls, I watch him pace like a caged animal, his free hand gesticulating wildly. Lysander stares at my screen with the expression of someone watching their career implode in real time. Nancy, this is insane. You can't do this to us. Do what? Build something innovative on my own time using my own resources? You're sabotaging the keynote. You're destroying our competitive advantage. How? Your presentation uses different technology entirely. Unless. I tilt my head with mock confusion. Unless you were planning to claim my personal intellectual property as CliffSun's corporate asset? More phones start ringing throughout the office. Octavia from legal looks like she's contemplating early retirement. Constantina wheels her cleaning cart past the chaos, shaking her head with the wisdom of someone who's seen countless corporate dramas play out. Through the glass conference room, I watch Bastian's animated conversation with whoever's unfortunate enough to be on the other end. Probably Reginald CliffSun's himself, the company founder whose name graces our paychecks and whose disappointment could end careers with a single phone call. My phone buzzes with a text from Oksana. Offer officially stands. Senior director level. Equity package. Legal defense fund if needed. Can start immediately. Another text from Benedict. Article goes live in 30 minutes. Brace yourself. You're about to become famous. A third message from Casimir. Demo hit 100K views overnight. 3 VC firms want meetings. This is unprecedented. I gather my personal belongings quietly. Laptop. Coffee mug. The small succulent plant Amelie gave me for my birthday, its tiny pot painted with her fingerprints. The framed photo of us at last year's science fair, where her renewable energy project won second place. Where are you going? Lysander asks desperately. Home. I have important calls to return. Behind me, chaos erupts like a volcanic explosion. Voices rising to near shouting levels. Accusations flying between departments. The sound of corporate reputations imploding in real time, careers detonating like controlled demolitions. I don't look back as I walk toward the elevator. The last thing I hear is Bastian's voice, muffled through conference room glass, explaining to someone why his division is suddenly the center of an industry scandal. The elevator doors close with a soft ding, carrying me away from 3 years of broken promises and stolen credit. 6 weeks later, I'm sitting in a corner office on the 32nd floor of Meridian Tower, watching CliffSun's stock price drop another 4 points on my Bloomberg terminal. Floor-to-ceiling windows offer a panoramic view of the city skyline, where other corporate towers house other ambitious professionals climbing their own ladders. The keynote presentation never happened. Cancelled 3 days before the conference when Lysander's plagiarized version fell apart during dress rehearsal. The technology he couldn't understand broke spectacularly in front of CliffSun's biggest investors, creating a public relations nightmare that's still generating negative headlines. Bastian was quietly transferred to special projects, corporate speak for career purgatory. Last I heard, he's managing vendor relations for office supplies. Lysander left for a cryptocurrency startup that folded within 6 weeks when investors realized their promises were built on borrowed code and empty charisma. The SEC investigation cleared me completely after 3 weeks of scrutiny. My work was legitimate, original, and legally protected intellectual property. CliffSun's attempt to claim ownership backfired spectacularly when journalists discovered the manipulated retention metrics I'd documented months earlier. The securities fraud scandal that emerged from my insurance files made bigger headlines than the technology theft. Turns out inflating performance numbers to boost pre-IPO valuations is exactly the kind of corporate malfeasance that makes prosecutors salivate. 3 executives are facing federal charges, and the IPO is permanently shelved. Benedict's exposé for TechCrunch won an investigative journalism award. How corporate America steals innovation from within, the Nancy Walters story, became required reading in business ethics courses and generated speaking invitations from Harvard, Wharton, and Stanford. I turned down the speaking circuit. Some stories are better lived than told. My new title at Meridian is Senior Director of Emerging Technologies, with a team of 12 brilliant engineers who actually listen when I speak. My salary more than doubled, but more importantly, my schedule belongs to me. I pick up Amelie from school every day at 3:15 sharp. We do homework together at our new kitchen table, solid oak instead of particle board, and when she struggles with advanced mathematics, she asks for help instead of solving everything alone. "Mommy, how come you seem happier now?" she asked last week over homemade pizza, cheese stretching between her fingers and her smile. "Because I learned something important, sweetheart. Sometimes you have to step back to see the whole picture. And sometimes the best way to win is to let other people show everyone who they really are." She nodded with 8-year-old seriousness, then returned to calculating pizza slice ratios with the mathematical precision she inherited from me. The technology that started this entire chain reaction is now powering Meridian's next-generation platform. Our beta clients are processing data at speeds that make CliffSun's legacy systems look like dial-up internet. We've secured partnerships with Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. The patents are filed under my name, with Meridian holding exclusive licensing rights. My phone buzzes with an email from Casimir Novak. "Nancy, loved your presentation at Tech Summit last month. Have you considered writing a book? Innovation, ethics, and corporate accountability in the digital age. Multiple publishers are interested. 7-figure advance possibilities." I delete the email without responding. Some stories don't need to be told to have power. Outside my office window, the city hums with possibility and ambition. Somewhere in a diminished corner office 12 floors below, in the CliffSun's building that used to represent my career aspirations, Bastien sits at his reduced desk managing purchase orders for printer paper and wondering how his perfect plan went so catastrophically wrong. He's probably still looking for someone to blame. Someone with more charisma, better presentation skills, stronger leadership presence. The irony tastes sweeter than my morning espresso. I turn back to my computer, where lines of code are evolving into the next breakthrough that will reshape how enterprises process real-time data. My team of engineers, brilliant minds who respect innovation over office politics, is building something revolutionary. Revolutionary thinking, indeed. But this time, nobody can steal the credit. This time, the patents have my name permanently etched in digital stone. This time, when someone tries to claim my work as their own, they'll discover that Nancy Walters learned to protect herself. Amelie's science fair is next Thursday. I've already blocked the entire afternoon on my calendar, marked it as unmovable in red ink. Her project on sustainable energy storage could change how we think about renewable power distribution. She definitely inherited the innovation gene. But unlike her mother, she'll grow up in a world where she knows her worth from the beginning, where she'll never let anyone convince her that her ideas belong to someone with better charisma. That's the most revolutionary change of all.